Emma de Orion was a child of the ice. Born and raised in the frosted embrace of Svalbard, Norway, she carried the Arctic within her very soul. Snow-dusted mountains were her playground, and the biting wind her constant companion. She thrived in the frigid air, her laughter echoing across the frozen landscapes like the calls of ancient glaciers. Heat, on the other hand, was her nemesis. It sapped her energy, wilted her spirit, and left her yearning for the comforting chill of her homeland. Yet fate, it seemed, had other plans. A cruel twist of irony for a girl who found solace in sub-zero temperatures. Her father, a man of ambition and opportunity, accepted a lucrative job offer in Dubai, a city that shimmered under the relentless gaze of the desert sun. And so, at the tender age of 12, Emma bid farewell to her beloved Svalbard, her heart heavy with the premonition of scorching days to come. Little did she know, a far greater ordeal awaited her, one that would test her spirit in ways she could never have imagined, far beyond the discomfort of mere heat. It was an ordeal that would etch itself onto her very being, a chilling testament to the resilience of the human spirit. Dubai was an assault on Emma's senses. Gone were the familiar, comforting crunches of snow beneath her boots, replaced by the relentless glare of the sun off towering glass and steel structures. The air, thick and heavy with humidity, clung to her like a suffocating blanket, a stark contrast to the crisp, invigorating air of Svalbard. Days melted into an endless cycle of sweltering heat. Emma would spend hours seeking refuge in the air-conditioned sanctuary of their apartment, her gaze drifting longingly towards the distant horizon, imagining the icy landscapes of her homeland. Her dreams were haunted by visions of frost-covered windows and the comforting silence of a world blanketed in snow. Her solace came in the form of her older sister, Astrid. 2 years her senior, Astrid was Emma's confidant, her rock in this unfamiliar and unforgiving land. Together, they sought solace in shared memories of their frozen paradise, their bond strengthening with each passing day as they navigated the challenges of their new life. Yet, Dubai held little allure for Emma. It was a gilded cage, a place of scorching winds and unfamiliar customs, a far cry from the land that held her heart captive. She yearned for the day she could return to the embrace of the Arctic, to feel the familiar sting of ice on her skin, to breathe in the crisp, clean air of her homeland. Little did she know that longing would soon consume her every thought, fueling a desperate hope for escape. The year 2008 brought with it a glimmer of hope, a reprieve from the oppressive heat of Dubai. Astrid, now a university student, planned a trip back to Svalbard during her winter break. For Emma, it was a dream come true, a chance to escape the clutches of the desert and return to the loving embrace of the Arctic. Their arrival in Svalbard was like stepping into a cherished memory. The familiar chill of the air was a balm to Emma's soul. She inhaled deeply, the crisp, clean air filling her lungs, invigorating her senses. Every fiber of her being sang with joy as she once again set foot on the snow-covered ground. The 2 weeks flew by in a flurry of snow angels, snowball fights, and long walks through snow-laden forests. Emma reveled in the familiar sights and sounds of her homeland, the laughter of children playing in the snow, the crunch of boots on the frozen ground, the hushed silence of a world blanketed in white. It was music to her ears, but like all good things, their time in Svalbard eventually came to an end. The thought of leaving the icy paradise filled Emma with a sense of dread. As the plane lifted off, carrying them away from the land of her birth, a shiver ran down her spine, a premonition of something ominous lurking on the horizon. It was a feeling she couldn't shake off, a gnawing unease that whispered of dangers yet to come. Their journey back to Dubai included a layover in Istanbul. The bustling city, a melting pot of cultures and languages, overwhelmed Emma. The air, thick with the scent of spices and exhaust fumes, pressed down on her, a stark contrast to the clean, crisp air of Svalbard. While Astrid saw to their luggage, Emma stepped outside the terminal for a breath of fresh air. The noise and chaos of the city washed over her, a cacophony of unfamiliar sounds. Lost in her thoughts, she wandered a bit too far, her senses dulled by the unfamiliar surroundings. 2 men, their faces obscured by shadows, approached her. Their words were a torrent of foreign sounds, their tone harsh and demanding. Fear, cold and paralyzing, gripped Emma's heart. She tried to pull away, to call out for Astrid, but a rough hand clamped down on her mouth, stifling her cries. They bundled her into a waiting van, the smell of stale cigarettes and fear assaulting her nostrils. The last image she saw before the darkness swallowed her was Astrid's frantic face, her voice a desperate cry lost in the cacophony of the city. Then, the van door slammed shut, severing her last link to freedom. The next few months were a blur of fear and disorientation. Emma and Astrid were held captive in a dingy, windowless room. Their only companions the shadows that danced on the walls and the gnawing fear that gnawed at their insides. The language barrier proved an insurmountable obstacle, their captors' words a jumble of incomprehensible sounds. Days bled into nights, marked only by the arrival of meager meals and the occasional visit from their captors. Their faces always masked, their intentions unclear. The fear that had initially consumed Emma gradually gave way to a steely resolve. She clung to the hope of escape, drawing strength from Astrid's presence. They communicated through whispered words and shared glances, finding solace in their bond, a beacon of light in the suffocating darkness. Emma, despite her tender years, displayed a remarkable resilience. She rationed their food, ensuring Astrid, weakened by the ordeal, received her share. She kept track of time by scratching marks on the wall, clinging to the hope that each passing day brought them closer to freedom. She refused to let the darkness extinguish her spirit, drawing strength from the memory of her beloved Svalbard, a symbol of the freedom she so desperately craved.